Shout out to the Marvel fans, man. They know what they doing.
Listen. Welcome back to the timeline, the alternate timeline. This is Dennis Smith, and this is round 2 for us, man, because we were just recording, and I messed up. But it's okay, man. We're gonna second time's a charm. But yeah, I got my main man Jam with me. We're here to talk Secret Invasion. How you doing today, Jam? How we doing?
I'm good, man. I'm blessed. Can't complain. It's a good day. Woke up, watched the Secret Invasion. The invasion is here.
I see the
Y'all
green.
see the green. You see the green is here.
Yes, sir. Man, I'm upset that we was just recording and now we got to do some of it again. But it's okay, man. It's okay. That's what this whole content creation business is about. But yeah, man, Secret Invasion is here. And, you know, we had the 3 a.m. release. I was up till 3 a.m. watching it. You caught it today, right? Like this morning? Or
yeah, I watched it like when I got back. It was like 10 o'clock or something like that around that time.
Yeah, man, and I just don't get why Disney doesn't put it earlier or put it, because I was saying at 9 o'clock, right? 9 o'clock on just like HBO, 9 o'clock p.m. for everybody. You know, I know it's 6 p.m. Western, but like for everybody to be on the same page and watch it at the same time, I don't know why you wouldn't go for that. That's just my thing. I'd be knocked out. But yeah, man, we got 6 episodes of Secret Invasion, but 1 episode today, the first episode. And it's started off really nice. And we are going to talk about the outcry that happened in the morning, basically. You know, I watched it at 3 a.m., right? And I saw the first thing when I finished watching and I got on Twitter, first thing I saw was the AI talk, how terrible it was for the AI intro that they had. And I have some things to say about it for sure. And I think that some of it is intentional, but I'm gonna let you go and speak your piece on it, because I know you have some things to say.
Yeah, I mean, initially, like I told you in the chat, you know, before I even seen it, I seen you guys talking about it in the chat. Shout out to the council, you know, and basically, I was my initial reaction was like, nah, like as an artist and graphic designer myself, I'm like, nah, I don't think that's like, they shouldn't be doing that. But then after watching it, doing some research, and hearing what the creators have said about the show, you know, I think it was intentional. I think it has a purpose. I think it's poetic. It's very poetic, to the point where, like, you know, AI is taking over the world, and so they kind of maybe wanted to hint around that. So I'm not like too upset about it. Do I think it was executed a little poorly? Yeah. It's not the most beautiful thing where AI should have captured it, but it's also not like the ugliest thing, like, you know what I mean, either, to where you can see how it would have been AI. I think if they would have wanted to do it, they should have made it to where even like a general audience member would have pointed it out, like, hey, that's AI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or like, hey, that's like super ugly. Like, go big or go home. Don't like half it. Yeah, so like, I mean, I think it was that was it for real. Like, I don't think it was that bad.
Yeah.
I think I think it could have been better taste, but overall, I'm not too opposed about it. Like, as an artist and a graphic designer myself, initially I was a little bit mad about it, but I think the symbolism, it's symbolic, it's poetic, and I think they did an eye job.
So yeah, I think part of the point of it is so you can't really tell, kind of, right? Like, you can't, like, if they were to go all out and be like, this is fully AI generated, for people to be like, oh, that's AI, I feel like it would almost defeat the purpose of being, you know, like the invasion of AI, right? You know, like, it's there, but we can't really tell type thing, which is like the theme of the show, right? We did see that the creators came out and said, like, yeah, it's part of the theme, right? It fits the theme of the show. And, you know, just looking at the AI art itself, for me, was like, okay, so like, who is this show about? It's about the Skrulls. And the Skrulls are kind of weird. They're not pretty people, or, you know, they're not even human, right? They're not from this earth. And to me, that's exactly what AI is. You know, even like I was saying, even what Talos was saying to to Nick Fury about, he's one of the better looking Skrulls out there. And Nick Fury was like, "Nah, bro." And,
Nah,
so
nah,
right,
nah.
nah. He's like, not really. And I think they clearly want us to think this way, that about the Skrulls, that they're not pretty people. They're ugly, they're weird, and not human. And to me, that fits the theme well, right? And then, like, my second thought about it is, I've been seeing people say, like, why not get an artist to do it, right? I'm hoping that part of it is also intentional, to the point where, like, if an artist does it, it defeats the purpose of it being like an AI invasion kind of thing. Because if an artist does it, it's human, and like the AI part is like not human. So they're trying to connect it with the Skrull thing, if you know what I'm saying. It's like the show is about a Skrull invasion and infiltration, and to me, that's, to what everybody's thinking, that's what AI is doing. So I think you can look at it the same way. And like I was saying, even if that part's not fully intentional, I think that the fact that there is an outcry about it, what I was saying before, there is an outcry about it, and then putting it in there kind of serves its purpose of, like, thinking how AI can take over in a way that the Skrulls are, you see how the Skrulls is moving in this episode, like AI moving the same way kind of thing, without us even really thinking twice about it. But it's actually really scary and dangerous if you think about it. So I think that's kind of what they were going for with it. And like I was saying, like, you see what's happening, you see what's coming out of this. The AI intro is almost like the outcry of it is almost louder than what the episode was. Like, people talking about the episode. The beauty of that is, like, it's almost like we're catching the AI invasion in real time. And hopefully we can do something about it. We're like, okay, studios, film makers, whoever across the world, like, this is not cool. Like, don't do this. Don't take away, jobs for people that, can make this type of art. So catching it in real time and being like, okay, this shouldn't be a thing, I think is actually the cool part of what they're doing, whether it's intentional or not. And I'm saying that it's possible they're, falling back on a sword that they made themselves kind of thing, that it was intentional, possibly. But I think either way, it's serving its purpose, and the outcry is, like, going to be good in a way moving forward, hopefully. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll work only in a symbolic and poetic gesture if they don't do it anymore. Like, after this, it's like,
can't.
Yeah.
Because that defeats the whole purpose of what you just did, in my opinion. Right?
Yeah, I agree. I also think this is the only thing that we talked about a little bit earlier, but it makes me a little worried for, them to continue not giving credit or to give money towards artists. The whole thing we talked about earlier with, like, Hawkeye's opening and end credit scene from the comic run by Matt Fraction.
Yeah.
Or the whole situation with, like, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, and all their characters that are being created, been created, where who gets the credit, and then Stan Lee becomes the face of Marvel, and Neil Kirby just came out with a statement when they dropped the documentary last week about basically saying, like, so are we to say, like, Stan did all of this and, like, no artist or other writers had contributions? Like, and I get that, because there's a lot of that in the industry. That's the whole point of the writer's strike right now. That's the whole point of the with some of the directors and actors potentially going on strike. So I think it's bigger and it's deeper. And I think, like, to your point, I think if they executed this intentionally, maybe it wasn't intentional, but if they have a message that they're trying to have cleared out, I think it needs to be the message, and then from here on out, like, that's it. Because I can't have AI technology, do all of this like the Skrulls.
Right. Nah, yeah, it's we'll see. We're gonna see when, in further projects and future projects.
When the next project comes out.
If they're still using AI, I think that defeats the whole purpose of what's come out of this situation, whether intentional or not.
So speaking on the opening sequence,
talk about it.
Before we even get into the episode, let's talk about how the fact that the Marvel intro has changed. and they kind of sped past the phase 3 or all the phases and all the characters. It's just quick, simple, red Marvel Studios. Let's get back into the episode. Like, let's get into the episode. And I thought that was pretty a different dynamic, you know, showcasing this tone or showcasing this episode.
Very
and
true.
Then from there it goes into the beginning of the episode. You want to talk about it? Go to the beginning of the episode right quick.
In general, I was gonna ask you a question. In general, did you smile or laugh at all during watching this episode? Because I didn't. Not once did I like laugh, giggle, or anything. Because that was the tone for me. It's like I thought about it though. Earlier today, I was like,
nah. Some of the stuff with Maria Hill and Nick Fury made me chuckle, as well as like when Nick Fury said that his midlife crisis or whatever was, you know what I mean?
Right, that is true.
So yeah, it did. I did smile a little bit during like certain scenes, but I will say the tone was more serious. Like it was like definitely Winter Soldier, Black Widow, like serious espionage vibes, and I was rocking with that this whole episode. Like,
I forgot.
But take us through the beginning.
Yeah, I was about to say I forgot about the banter between Talos and Nick Fury was actually pretty good, and some of it was funny. Now that I think about it, but yeah, the beginning was, you know, this guy, I don't remember who he was, but we're seeing Ross, Everett Ross, meet this guy in this room, and this guy has it all mapped out, like the meme where the guy's talking about the map, like trying to piece things together. Yeah, he's like, this is what's going on in my head. He's figuring it out, right? He's figuring out the whole Skrull thing, and he got it. He got it figured out.
Yeah,
he nailed it. He nailed it. And
I don't know who bro is.
Yeah. But. And he figures out Everett Ross is one of them at the very end. So he tackles him. And
well, hold on. You got to paint the picture. You got to
go ahead.
So the episode starts with Everett Ross getting a phone call. Now, mind you, like, oh, wait a minute. Everett Ross is like out of now. He's not in prison right now, or he's not with the Wakandans right now.
Yeah, because they was just with them.
Like, he's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, so boom, he gets this call. He gets the call, and he immediately is like, "I'm on the way." So he goes to this like we were talking about, this random like agent's house, but he's basically like letting out the plan he's letting out like Everett Ross, letting him know the whole plan, like the whole plan, and essentially during the conversation, he's like, "Wait a minute!" It's like the Spider-Man meme. Like he's like, "Wait a minute! Like you a Skrull, like type vibe." And so he like Dennis said he tackles him, and they get into a tussle, and from there, Everett Ross, or so we think, shoots the guy.
Yeah,
he shoots him, and there's like a whole chase scene. You don't really know who's chasing Everett Ross. Everett Ross we're on the point of view of Everett Ross, and then he falls off of he tries to jump, but he falls off a cliff.
Yeah.
During the chase scene, and he falls, he comes down, and basically you find out that bro is a Skrull the whole time. Fooled Maria, and Talos pulls up like, "Yo, we got a situation," basically.
Right. So because I've seen some confusion online, that Everett Ross that we're seeing in this episode 1 was just this episode, right? Like it was just that. Everett Ross that we've seen before this episode, it's definitely Everett Ross still, right? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I want to say yeah, but I don't know.
Who knows, right? Like this show's gonna make us question everything, right? It could get really weird, and I think it's gonna go that way, but not yet. But yeah, so I guess, and then it cuts to Fury, right, coming down from the spaceship.
Yeah, after the opening sequence of the AI.
Yeah, and he, to me, I was, first of all, just in general, I was really looking forward to Nick Fury, just getting back with him in general, spending some time with Nick Fury. Yeah. I think everybody's been wanting that Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury. I'm hyped for, just seeing his transition from like this broken old man, right? This broken old man still hurting from being dusted away, to hopefully becoming this badass secret agent again, you know, that everybody's doubting this whole show. That's what I'm looking forward to. But yeah, he basically comes back down from was it the space center? Like it was the Saber, and you know what Saber is?
Yeah, yeah. Based off of the comics, it's like a hub, like the space hub.
Got you.
Essentially.
Gotcha. Cool. Yeah. I was trying to remember what exactly happens next. I think Fury, Talos, and what's the homegirl?
And Maria Hill. They basically come together.
They come together
and
talking
like
about it. Yeah.
Start trying to formulate some type of plan.
Mm-hmm.
And Talos and Nick Fury kind of have a moment, like a brotherhood. They're like, "Yo, like it's great to see you."
Yeah.
You know, his wife is gone, and Nick Fury is basically like his wife passed away, and Nick Fury is basically apologizing for that, which they don't really explain yet how she passed away. They will later, but basically she passed away, and that what they were doing was they were cultivating like certain species of fruit and like plants on Earth from their homeworld, from like the Skrulls' homeworld, and so thought that was pretty cool. They have like again, there's this brotherly moment that was the first picture where people were talking about where Nick Fury and Talos putting their heads together. That was from Vanity Look or Vanity Fair's first look.
When they're talking in the room, Maria and Nick Fury and Talos, you know, they're talking about what the Skrulls are up to, and the way Talos was like, yeah, if Gravik gets what he wants, like your species will cease to exist. And then the way Fury like gets up real quick and he's like, I gotta go outside. I'm going for a walk. He has this walk first, I'm pretty sure. He goes on this walk.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And it's funny, Talos was like, this is another funny thing, is like Talos was like, man, you about to stick out like a sore thumb. Like basically it's like, Negro, you about to stick out like a sore thumb. Basically.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, black man, Moscow at nighttime. Like, what's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? And then he's people were giving him the side eye, man. People were out there looking at him, staring at him and stuff like that, and he gets taken basically. And I think that's when it transitions to the Skrull side. No, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. So while he's on his walk, it transitions to the Skrulls' point of view. And like I was saying, you get this random human that walks up to the gate of two armed guards just guarding it, basically. And Emilia Clarke's character, Gaia, comes out. Now, Emilia Clarke is basically playing Talos' daughter in the human form, essentially. But she's playing Talos' older daughter.
Nice.
And so she gets to there and she like basically is asking him like to present himself in his true form. He's like, because the guy that walked to the gate is a Skrull. So they let him in, and it's basically this fortified community of where the Skrulls are. Skrulls, yeah. And so they're basically got this gated community where they're trying to take up care of themselves, basically creating home on Earth. Right. Skrull homeworld on Earth. And so she's taking this guy through like basically to the property, and she gets him to like this military camp part of the area. And she's like, yo, like, you wait here. I'm about to go in and get the word or whatever. And she goes in, and basically what you see is all of these humans kidnapped.
Yeah.
Like all of these humans kidnapped and into like this machine that's basically keeping them in stasis. Now, I want to talk about this real quick because a lot of people that didn't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. don't know this. But that like stasis like pod that they're basically in is very similar to a stasis field from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where they put people in like this VR or AR like world reality or whatever, and keeps them in hold and in stasis. So a lot of people that were online were speculating that it might be Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like connections there. We don't have enough information yet to verify that, but that's a nice theory that's working, you know. But essentially, so Emilia Clarke watches this. They basically bring in this human, and a Skrull takes his face. They put him in the pod, then they take his memories, and then from there it's just like Emilia Clarke's character Gaia. Gaia is basically disgusted by all of this, but she feels like it's a bigger point to it. Like if there's a means to the end, and so that's kind of where that leaves that, and it skips to the next scene of Fury basically talking to this lady. You want to run us by that one? I'll let you take over.
I have a question before you before we go on, my question is that shadow character that they look up to and the like behind the window, remember they like all look up and there's like a
Yeah.
shadow. Do you think that's Gravik or do you think that's somebody else?
No, I think that was just Gravik
You think that was
in the
just Gravik?
moment. I think it was just Gravik. Yeah,
All right.
for like suspense.
Okay. I think it could be. I think it's possible that it might be somebody else back there, but
You
um,
think so?
I think it's possible because the way they presented Gravik wasn't like some guy behind the curtain type of moment, like the guy he was.
That's
But
true. That's
we'll
true.
see, we'll see. But yeah, so what happens? Yeah, so this is Nick Fury is in the room with the lady. I don't remember what her name is.
I don't remember her name either.
But yeah, he's
I
trying to
don't
get.
actually, to be honest. Who is she? Who is she
I don't.
specifically? Is she like a field agent?
She's a higher up. She's a higher up. She's connected. Let's just say she's very connected, and um, basically Fury is looking for some information on the Skrulls and what they got going on at these plants, because these plants are like off the grid, right? Um, and she won't give it up that easy. They have a little drink, and she's just not willing to do it. And this is like the first time we actually get to see Nick Fury do some secret agent type stuff where he's real slick with it, and he puts the camera, a little small camera, on the owl's eye, the little statue of the owl. He puts it on the
Yeah.
eye, right, and that was
Yeah.
huge for what happens later. But yeah, they have a talk. She wouldn't budge. She's I don't know what her position is. She's got these bodyguards that they not playing around, and yeah,
I
she's
thought it was
somebody.
interesting too that like I thought it was interesting too that like Nick Fury not really like during this episode he's not getting the answers that he wants. Like he's
Yeah,
not. It's not coming easy to him like it usually does. You know what I
very
mean?
true, very true. Which is why I was like in the beginning, I'm looking forward to that transition of when it does get become easy for him. It's like second nature to him because Nick Fury is
Right.
supposed
Right.
to be that dude too. So I can't wait for to see that transition play out. Um, yeah, so basically after that, what happens? We get Gaia. She goes on that mission, and Maria Hill follows her. Basically, while they're having the
Basically.
talk,
Yeah.
yeah, follows her, and she kind of she escapes to like some under passageway. Maria Hill runs up on her. They have a little scramble or whatever. She gets away, but Talos is chasing as well. And before she
Yeah.
gets up to climb the escape thing, Talos meets with her and um, basically talks to her about the mother. She lets her know about the mother being gone, and
Yeah.
yeah, at this point you can see that she's kind of conflicted. So is he. So is he, because
Yeah.
we forgot the whole scene of him and Nick Fury going into that place, and he sees Nick Fury shoot a guy and shoot basically a Skrull,
Yeah.
put 2 bullets in him, and he was hurt by that. You can see it on his face, and so it's interesting. Like he's very conflicted because he wants a home as well. Like, he wants what the other Skrulls want, but he doesn't like the way that they're going about doing it. But
And he basically we forgot to talk about this during that brotherly moment scene of Talos and Fury at the beginning of the
yeah,
episode. You basically find out that like, hey, like Carol and Nick Fury have been trying to find the Skrulls a home
yeah,
planet for like decades. It's been
yeah,
like 30 years, and
like
it
20
just so
movies.
happened. Like yeah, and it just which is wild. I actually want to talk about that a little bit later,
Yeah,
but to me that's well we can talk about it now. It's a little
go
bit
ahead.
wild that during Captain Marvel, that movie, she's trying to go find them a home world, and then the next time we see them is in Far From Home, and it's just like they've been on Earth this whole time, and it's like everything is all good.
Yeah,
That's a little weird. That never has been addressed during the MCU, but we just moved on like it was supposed to just
yeah,
be okay. And now our answer to that is for 30 years they've been trying to, or I guess 25 years, because 5 of those years they were blipped, or at least Nick Fury was blipped.
yeah,
So and Talos brings that up. He says when Thanos happened, you got snapped. Carol was gone. Like
hmm
so, I mean, like some of the Skrulls basically revolted and they got angry.
Yeah.
And so that brings us back now to basically the point where, like, you know, Talos and his daughter Gaia are talking amongst each other, and he's trying to come to terms with her. And she basically gets away. She basically like walks away. Tells him like, you know, like they basically like kind of just leave it at that for that moment. Um, and so it skips ahead a little bit to where
Well, she like hits him up again. She hits him up, like,
well, I was
basically.
gonna say, yeah. So
Yeah.
Nick Fury, Talos, and Mariah Hill have another conversation, and Maria Hill basically kind of puts Fury in his place a little bit. She's like, "Yo, are you prepared for this? Like, you changed. Like, you ain't the same man that you used to be. Like, is everything good with you? Like, you sure you ready for this? Like, what's to come? I don't think you built for this." And so I think that was a little bit funny for what's to come later on. But so she basically has a great dynamic with him, which is a new dynamic because usually she's listening to what he says, but this time she was checking him.
Yeah.
And so while she's checking him, we have a recap of Talos and Gaia, and they basically re-meet again, and she gives him some inside information, and she's trying to find it out, and Talos realizes that. He's like, "Yo, look, like I see you trying to."
Right.
Excuse me. He's like, "I see you trying to get out.
Right.
Like, let me help you out. You're my daughter. You know what I'm saying? All the fun love moments, fatherly daughter moments." And so basically, he goes back to Nick Fury and Maria Hill. And he's like, "Yo, we got her. She's in." And so from there, they kind of like collaborate the intel that they got from Gaia and the intel that they get from the age or the higher up lady that Fury was meeting earlier, that he left the camera on the owl.
Right.
And so they're collaborating like all of the info from both, and they come up with a plan to basically stop them.
Yeah.
And the plan goes to they basically go to initiate the plan essentially.
Yeah,
I'll let
the
you take it
bombs.
from there.
Yeah,
Like what happened.
yeah. So this is where, you know, they out in the field now. This is field work now, and the bombs got X's on them. And she told them like, look, they're gonna use the infrared. They got the X's on the backpacks or whatever. And yeah, it goes south real quick. Like the Skrulls been working, bro. They moving slick out there. They moving slick. They passing backpacks off and everything, and they start moving. And they're chasing backpacks that have nothing in it. And this is when it's like, okay, so did Gaia set that up, or did they set up Gaia knowing that she would? Like, we don't know, right? Yeah, so we
don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know yet, but that's interesting to think of right there. But yeah, it's finally, this is when I guess they split up because they're looking for the people. Oh no, so Fury comes across the backpack, nothing is in it, and he finds that like girl. It's like the same girl that we saw in the street with like the volleyball thing, or the beach ball thing. And so I have a question about that. So like, how did that happen? Like, my question is, how did that happen? Or how did...
I'm assuming that like the main Skrull, what's his name again?
Gravik.
I'm assuming that Gravik like was just in the area. Then he seen a little girl, seen Fury look at the little girl, so he looked at, like, he made himself look like her. Because when you remember when Fury's following him, he's changing into a bunch of different people that Fury has already seen. That we've already seen that throughout the episode. So I'm assuming that Gravik.
So what is that
power?
I
don't think that he was all those people. What do you mean? What is that power?
Well, yeah, I don't think he was all those people in the beginning when Fury was going on that walk, right? Like, those were just the regular people.
Yeah, he just.
But
there's Skrulls that could turn into those people.
Yeah, but how if he's never... So we're assuming Gravik was around when he was on that walk?
Yeah, I'm assuming that Gravik at least seen that little girl, and possibly, yeah, it could be. I don't know. We have to wait.
Or is it because my question is like, what is that power to? How does he know that he's seen that girl or seen these people if he wasn't there? That's my question.
Gravik could also be a super Skrull.
And is it something
like a Skrull with powers?
With powers where like he can just kind of see what you've seen, like
instead of touching them to get their memories, he could just, you know what I'm saying? He could just do it.
Ooh.
Who knows? We don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Or unless he did make contact with Fury. and I just missed it. Maybe he made contact. Who knows? But yeah, so he starts changing into people that Fury's seen, and Fury's like kind of like, okay, what in the world's going on?
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts on Gravik, man? I think he's menacing for sure. Like he has a very to me, he has a very international, overseas type of madman look to him. Like you don't want
I
to
can see
mess with
that.
that guy overseas.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So I think right now I like him a lot. He's playing the role very well. Even when he was talking to his comrades and he's questioning them, he's like, why are you doing this? Like, is it for you? Like, no, it's for me. It's for the people. It's just for our home. We're trying to find a home here. Yeah, to me, I like him right now. I've heard good things about him too, and the actor that plays him. So I'm looking forward to more of his performance. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I gotta see more to
see more.
have like an opinion.
Okay,
Yeah.
got you. Yeah, so he finally shows himself for the main body, and he looks at Fury and bomb, right? Blows some things up. And people are dying. Like you see bodies kind of flying. I'm like, damn, like they
Yeah.
showing bodies fly, like people dead, right?
Yeah.
Um,
It was like, and then the screams just look bad. It's like right there. It's, you in it. Like,
you in it, right? Um, and so yeah, he starts chasing this guy, Gravik, and this is when it cuts to what Maria Hill's point of view. I think she spots him or whatever.
yep,
She's going after him,
yep, yep.
and he's blending in, and he blends into basically Nick Fury, right? And I'll let you finish it on off.
Yeah, I mean, so he basically goes. He keeps changing back and forth, and then he blends. He turns it to Nick Fury, and Maria Hill's looking around to catch him, and Nick Fury's like, "Hey, Maria," and she's like, "Oh, Fury," and she goes to walk up on him, and Fury basically shoots her
Mm-hmm.
because it's not Fury. So Gravik basically changed into Fury, and he shot Maria Hill, and so then the real Nick Fury walks up on her, and she's basically gasping for air,
Yeah.
and she says her last words, and she
Says it was
clicks,
you,
and
right? Didn't she say it was you?
it was you.
Man.
It was you.
So you think she passed away knowing or thinking that Nick Fury actually shot her? Or
No,
she probably smarter than that.
Yeah, I think she was telling him like he could turn into
He
you,
could turn
like,
into you, yeah. Yeah.
you
I
know what I
agree.
mean. By the way, I want to shout out Nick Fury, or I guess I should say Samuel Jackson during that scene because he had that crazy look in his eye, like he played that role of a villain right there really good. You know what I mean? Like, or playing like Gravik, he did it really really well.
That is
But
true.
so you brought up a really good point. Is that was that really Maria Hill that died, or was that Talos
Right.
his wife? Because Talos's wife is already dead.
It's
Like we already
dead.
know that.
Right.
She's dead, and apparently to Talos, Gravik and them killed her. So that to me kind of establishes that they already betrayed Gaia. Like because they killed her mom, they knew Gaia would find that out eventually,
Very
and
true.
so they kind of they double crossed her. Like they got her on the inside, and then it's like all right, now it's like a double. It's like a double agent type deal.
Yeah.
With Gaia. But I think Maria Hill actually is really dead. I think she got yeah.
You think you think Maria Hill is gone like that? All
right, so I think the only way this could work is if they use the technology that they did in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to bring Coulson back.
Okay.
Only way it works.
Well, I say, yeah, we've seen Nick Fury on his deathbed and come back. We've seen Coulson come back. We've seen some people from
yeah, but she
yeah.
Yeah.
We like I said, we're gonna know very early in the next episode whether she's dead or not. Because they could easily do one of those where she just kind of wakes up from it, like because I don't know, they had some kind of technology helping her or something like that. Yeah, we gonna know very early next episode if she's dead or not. One thing we forgot to mention, Rhodey appeared. Rhodey appeared in this episode as well.
Oh right. Yes, I wanted to talk about that. So Rhodey basically it's like the third or fourth scene where basically after Fury comes down from Saber and he's talking to, everybody, Maria Hill, Taos, and he basically goes to the president. He's like, hey, like, Fury left Saber. I can't get a hold of him, and I can't get a hold of Maria Hill. So it sounds like they all went AWOL.
Right.
And then, like, the president, like, pulls Rhodey to the side. He's like, handle it. Mm. And so, to me, in my head, it kind of felt Skrully.
It did.
It felt a little Skrully.
It felt Skrully.
It was like the president was the Skrull, and he felt a little Skrully. He was like, handle that. Like, and Rhodey was like, all right. Like, because to me, it's like, why would Rhodey just do whatever the president said? Like, we not with the event. Like, you not on Avengers with Fury. Like, you not, like, you ain't got no inside pull with Maria Hill and them. Like, you literally, to me, Rhodey literally in Infinity War, he literally just said F you to the government. He was like, I already lost my legs because of y'all, so I'm gonna work with Captain America and Black Widow and all of them who are not working with the government. So to me, now he's this inside man as the government. Like, nah. That felt Skrully.
That felt Skrully. I have to agree with you 100%. I was like, Rhodey, you act a little strange right now, my guy. You act a little different. We don't know everything yet. Yeah, we don't know where that character stands right now, and we're just gonna have to see and wait to see more of him. So, Rhodey is definitely going to be a part of this, and we'll see what role he plays. But yeah, he's we definitely seen the theories out there about Rhodey in this show. It's quite possible. Anything else, man? Any other like last like little remarks you gotta say about the episode 1, man, the premiere? How'd you feel about it?
No, man, I really enjoyed it. I loved the twists and turns and the surprises. It felt like a nice ride. It was different. Definitely set the tone early for what kind of show it was gonna be. I also feel like it also set the tone at the end of the episode for what kind of show it was gonna be. Like, hey, we're not willing to like we're not willing to throw some surprises in there, you know what I'm saying, and hurt some feelings too. Right. So I think it's gonna be a different type of show than we're used to. Everybody wants this big like reveal, or I had one of my guys text me. He's like, "Hey man, I hope we get some like at least 1 or 2 superheroes in this. I don't want to watch a Tom Clancy show." And I was just like, I don't really look at it that way. Like the Skrulls to me are enough. Like it's like it's like
Skrulls,
a different
Nick
tone
Fury,
for the MCU.
Yeah.
Like I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, it feels Agents of Shield like type vibes to me. Real down to the wire, like grounded level MCU stuff that I feel like we've been missing besides that some of the other stuff. So sorry, I just dropped something.
You're good.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, I think I enjoyed it. If I had to give it a review number, I'd probably give it like an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm right there to solid like 8. I'm very satisfied with that first episode. Yeah, definitely set the tone, and it's just different. Like I was saying before, I didn't
Nick Fury beard out.
Yeah, like I was saying, I didn't laugh very much, and I that's a good thing. It was something totally different than what was the last thing we saw? Is it She-Hulk? Like it's something totally different than
was it
She-Hulk.
Was it She-Hulk? Quantumania.
Well, no, the last TV show, like Disney Plus show. I think it was She-Hulk.
No, I lost my. I think you're right. It might have been She-Hulk. I think it. Wait, hold on. Yeah.
I think it's She-Hulk.
That was a while ago.
It's been a minute. Yeah, man. Like I'm excited for the show. I think that like it has a lot going on. And what I think excites me the most is like there's a clear, even though there's a lot of mystery involved, a lot of twists and turns. There's a clear story that they're building here. I think some of the other shows were missing that, where it was like She-Hulk had episodes where like, all right, like there like wasn't a story behind it, you know what I'm saying? Or like even Miss Marvel has some episodes where like, okay, I don't know what this does for the story, but like this one feels like, all right, very, like you're saying, grounded, and there's obviously a story that's going to play out, similar to like, people were comparing it to like Andor, right? Like Andor had that story playing out.
This is Marvel's Andor right now.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm excited for that and see where it takes us, man.
I will say we are doing a new giveaway this week. We just ended our giveaway from last week. The
Right.
new giveaway this week is going to be Cyborg issue 1. Last week we did Titans issue 1, so I thought it was a nice segue to go from the Titans main team to maybe an individual character, which is Cyborg's new series written by Morgan Hampton, and the art is by I want to say it's Rainey. Is it Matt Rainey or John Rainey? Something like that. I know his last name is Rainey. I gotta do the research on that. But definitely Mark Hampton is the artist. Excuse me, is the writer. And I'm looking forward to it, man. I read the first issue already. It's dope. I
Okay.
like it. They're giving us a little Star Wars twist with Cyborg, which is really cool. So I thought that was pretty awesome.
Cool.
And yeah, man, but that just make sure y'all enter on our social medias. That's
That's
the
right.
alt time on IG and Instagram. Excuse me, IG and Twitter. Enter those giveaways, man, and show some love, and we appreciate y'all. Definitely make sure you super smash this like button as well.
That's right.
And that's pretty much it. Welcome and thank you for talking episode 1, Secret Invasion with us, y'all. We really appreciate y'all.
Absolutely, man. Like he said, super smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more content. I'll have all the channels and IGs and Twitters and all the handles down in the description below. And leave a comment, man. Let us know how you enjoyed Secret Invasion. What do you think is going to happen next? Yeah, man. We're enjoying it so far. We're excited to be back in the MCU, man. Back with Nick Fury finally. Like, where the hell has he been?
Sir.
We've missed Nick Fury, man.
Man.
And the Skrulls are here. So, yeah, man. That's basically it, man. Thanks for tuning in with us. We appreciate it, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.